Good morning, everybody. Welcome to IOTC episode 007. And today's guest, we have the amazing and wonderful Claudia Hehr. Thank you so much, Claudia, for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I can't believe it, 007. This is great.
Yeah, it's total 007 here. And you know what? For all our guests, Claudia is an amazing animal communicator, dog expert, and the voice of the animals. You are who I consider, and many consider, a modern day Dr. Dolittle. So thank you so much. We're going to dive into some really cool topics on the show, and I'm really excited. So let's start off with, how did this unfold for you, that this was going to be something that was your, I don't want to call it like your career path, but your calling in life? Like, how did you discover, when did you have that moment? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm an animal communicator.
It wasn't so much, hey, I'm an animal communicator. It was just animals all my life.
Okay.
Always, I wanted to do something with animals. And when I was smaller, and when you then kind of look for your career path, and I wanted to work with animals, I couldn't become a vet because I didn't have the money to study.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do something with animals, and everybody said to me, no, you don't make enough money, and this, right? I mean, I wanted to do anything with animals. So then I, started to work in an office.
Mm-hmm.
And, that definitely wasn't it. Because it's always been animals. I had such a close relationship with animals. And here I am. I came to Canada as a domestic. And then I started a dog walking pet sitting agency. I was one of the first dog walkers. And in 1991, was it 1991 or 1992, opened Canada's first official dog daycare. There wasn't even
wow.
allowed to call it a daycare. And then I did, I had a daycare and did dog grooming and so on. And then I went full-time into the animal communication. And again, beside me, there was only one other lady in all of Southern Ontario, so it wasn't really heard of. Nobody was.
So you were pioneering it back then, basically. So how did you know that you could communicate with the animals? When did you realize that I'm having this communication through telepathy, correct?
Right. Well, from very, very small, whenever I saw an animal anywhere, being in the street or in a movie, whenever I saw an animal, I just knew what this animal was thinking, what's going on in this animal's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew it. I don't know, I knew if an animal was mistreated, if an animal was not feeling well, not fed. I just knew it.
Right.
And then, at one point I saw the movie Dr. Dolittle, and I thought, oh, that's what I want to do. That's what I want.
There you go. That's it. I mean, I remember the movie as a kid as well. I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a cool thing to speak to the animals. And you speak to, you started off with dogs, is that correct? Or like
all animals.
Okay.
All animals.
And so like even snails and slugs and like.
I have spoken with pretty much any species on this earth. So from the one cell amoeba to the largest now known animal in this world, which is the blue whale. So anything in between.
Okay, I have to ask this because I'm a fan of the blue whale. What would a blue whale say? Like when you connect with the blue whale, like can you explain like even just the process of telepathy, like how you make that connection? How do you know you have that connection? And then that exchange of dialogue that goes along with it.
Quite a few questions. So the first one with whales, I mean, it really depends. When you talk to an animal, everybody's individual. So it's like if you talk to one person, doesn't mean that the next 10 people have the same experience or thoughts or feelings or whatever. So every animal is different.
Okay.
I've spoken with some humpback whales, like some really amazing things that I found out that what people think they know about animals is actually not true, because when you talk to the animals, they tell you something different.
Okay.
I have to tell you something. Yeah, I once spoke with a big white, like a shark.
Yes. Okay.
And because they have such a bad reputation, like mass murderers, right?
Right.
The first thing that he asked me was actually, why do people hate us so much?
Oh, wow. Huh?
And you know what? People think they're like, I mean, they're not mass murderers or killers, or they're not like, oh gosh, there's a human, let's kill him. No, it's just they eat stuff in the water, and when we swim, we're not very elegant, so there's a lot of water and stuff. So they come over and try it out, but usually they spit us out. They don't like humans, actually, the human taste.
Right. Yeah.
So, but it's like us. If you walk through an orchard, you pick an apple, you just kill that apple, kind of thing, right?
Right. So the white shark can detect human, I don't want to say animosity, but they can detect that fear when.
Well, yeah, because telepathy is so telepathy is basically a form of communication. So there's many different ways how we communicate. There's our communication, right, which is a two-way street, because if you speak the same language, there's the body language, there's scent, there is, you name it, and there's also telepathy.
Right.
Telepathy is known as the universal language. However, I like to call it a soul-to-soul connection, because when we communicate telepathically, we connect to the soul.
Yes.
And since the soul is immortal, we also can communicate with beings who have left their physical bodies, because we connect with the soul.
Right.
And telepathy is basically a communication without the use of verbal or signs or symbol. It's just a knowing, a feeling.
Okay.
So when you speak and when you think, you send out telepathic messages. It's not possible that you don't do it. You do. However, a lot of people, when they say something or when they think something, they say it or think it the wrong way. And that's why usually animals do the opposite of what they ask, what people want them to do, because they're saying it wrong. So there's that one. Yeah. But so everybody, again, is telepathic. So, have you ever had it that you talk to a person, this person says something to you? Let's say you and we would have said, okay, let's go and see a movie tonight.
Okay.
And then I call you and I say, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, but you know what? I'm not really feeling well. Can we get together next week? And you say, sure. But so deep down you think, just doesn't feel quite right, right? You have just this feeling.
Okay.
And then next time I see you, I say to you, you know what? I'm so sorry, but I met this really cute guy and he asked me out, and so you kind of felt it, that what I said to you wasn't right.
Like an intuitive hit in a way. Yeah. With like something felt off.
Right. So basically when we communicate verbally, we use this. When we communicate telepathically, we use this part. We use the heart.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like with telepathy, it's almost, you're right. It's like this heart. And I would say even like the thought form as well, with a bit of the head, with like constructing that, like they kind of exchange it. And like you said, like when two people come together, their heart exchanges, right? I love how you said that the soul is immortal, and that even obviously, after death, there's this continuation that you can still connect with. So when you connect, I call it the infinity. But when you connect with like the soul of a dog, and you go and to clients' houses, and there's obviously something that you're being called for, can you walk us through like an example of how you would go about with your gift, and then also like what happens next after that communication occurs?
So to be honest, actually, most of my sessions or communications actually don't know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I have clients all over the world, because telepathy doesn't have any distance restrictions.
Okay.
So you can, it's like your cell phone, you can communicate anywhere. However, you need a cell tower. Telepathy doesn't have that. And the same thing, that's also why you can communicate with the soul who has left the physical body.
Right.
So the way it usually is, and there's no difference in the effectiveness if it's in person or in animal or over a distance.
Okay.
You and I and the listeners, we're having a conversation here.
Yes.
You're on the other side of the country, right? So it's a few kilometers away, right? Like 5,000 or something. So that's the same thing. So there's no distance restrictions. So so if it's in person or in animal, then of course the animal is present. If not, then I get either a description of what the animal looks like, or a picture.
Okay.
I like to know the name. So and with that, I'm able to connect with the animal. It's sort of like if you pick up your phone and you can punch in 10 numbers, you get randomly a person. If you know 10 numbers, you want to talk to. So it's the same thing. If I know the energy of the animal that I'm communicating with, I connect. And to me, it feels almost like if you plug something in, there's all of a sudden a connection. I just feel it.
Like a jolt. Do you even feel like, how does it feel like in the body too? Or is it just like like you said, you mentioned it as a knowingness. It's like I connected.
I'm just there.
Okay.
Like, it's almost like, you're coming home, you're in front of the door, you open your door, you walk in your home.
Okay.
So that it feels like that to me. And with me, I'm not just communicating, I'm also an empath.
Okay.
So I'm really feeling, connecting, being the being who I'm communicating with. So I'm
right.
everything like this being.
Right.
So you get that on top, because when you just communicate, so communicate as a translator, right? And when you translate words, sometimes things can get missing, right?
Right.
A word can be translated in many different ways depending on the situation. So when I communicate with an animal, being an empath, I really get the deep down meaning. And then usually what I like to do, so when I connect with somebody, then I get whatever I get, I pass on. I usually like my clients to give me a little bit information about their dog, cat companion, like animal companion.
Yes.
There's two reasons for that. One is, while my client tells me his or her side of the story, the animal companion will actually hear what you're talking about and can tell me their side of the story.
Okay.
Say, if two people, let's say they go and see a movie.
Okay.
They're watching the same movie. However, two people have two different experiences. One can say that was a fantastic movie, and the other one says boring. So it's the same thing. So while the person tells me how they see things, the animal can tell me how they see the things, right?
Okay.
And the animal is then up to date why we actually want to talk about. And whatever I get, I pass on. So when I have a conversation, I don't judge, first of all.
Okay.
I don't judge what you're saying, what you're asking, and so on. And I don't take anything away or add anything. So this is really the animal's time, the animal ability to sorry, I have somebody who wants to come on my lap here.
Oh, who is, hey!
And
I love her.
And then I basically, and then I tell what the animals have to say or want to say, and it goes from there. And you never know.
You're like a mediator in a way. Is that correct to say that? In like you're just kind of taking in this blocks of information and conveying to each party of like what the intention was or what's like some sort of resolution, correct?
Yes and no. Well, first of all, I translate everything anybody has to say.
Okay.
And if there is a usually when issues happen, it's because of miscommunication. And then I go in and see what happened, how, and again, because the way we say things, we usually say it wrong. The animals misunderstand it.
Okay.
And try to, to correct that.
Can you give an example of like how, with your clients, just in general as well, like what kind of questions are asked and how your input affects the outcome of a change in behavior, basically, on both parties, I guess?
Okay. Most times, again, it's behavior issues or wellness issues why people actually come to me, right?
Okay.
And if it's a behavior issue, usually, first of all, we have to understand that the animals, they live with us. We really ask them a lot because we have a totally different life than they have, right? Like, for example, if you have a dog companion, if they live out somewhere outside, they run and do, they can go to the bathroom whenever, and then, we lock them up, we go away, they're alone for hours. So, what we have to ask of them is pretty harsh, right? It's pretty different from what they're usually used to. But the best thing is always to explain to the animals how things work, why we want to do certain things or whatever. It's the same thing. Let's say a Martian comes and takes you and puts you on Mars, and you have no idea how they live. Of course, you live your life, how you know it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they say to you, no, this is totally wrong. Wouldn't you prefer somebody showing it to you nicely rather than punishing you, kind of thing, right?
Right.
So if we explain things to the animals, they're so open. Sure, no problem. I didn't know, So, but the way we should communicate, or the trick is actually that. So when, again, as I said to you earlier, when we speak and when we think, we send out telepathic messages. But what's very important to know with telepathy is negatives do not come through. So what that means is, if I say to you guys, to everybody who's listening, don't think about an elephant.
Okay. That's one of my a pink elephant, right? Don't think about a pink elephant, and then there goes a pink elephant floating in the right?
Yeah, don't think about what you had for breakfast this morning. Oh, I had toast. So, so then I asked people, so what you were just thinking about? And they said, well, an elephant. And I said to you, don't think about it.
Okay.
I put all my focus on it. Of course, you're focusing on it too. So when we speak with an animal, so let's say we have a dog companion who likes to jump up, and we say, don't jump up. You're putting all your focus on the jumping.
Okay.
So again, you're focusing on the jumping. You see your dog jumping. You know, rather than saying, please keep all 4 feet on the ground.
Oh, I see.
What you want to do, you always want to tell them what you want. However, that's also not very easy for people, because sometimes it's like when somebody says, I don't want to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. You're still focusing on the being sick, right?
Right.
So I'm just starting also a program where I really want to teach people how to say things correctly, because once you do, it makes such a difference. I have a client. She has 4 cat companions.
Okay.
3 of them got along really well.
Okay.
A 4th one came, and those 3 really didn't like the 4th one. And
okay. Aww.
And she kept saying, don't fight, and so anyway, so we had a conversation, and first of all, I explained to the 3 of them why the 4th one came, and the 4th that, so there was a lot of misunderstanding going on. And I also told her what to say. Okay. 2 days later, I get a picture with all 4 like piled together on a cat tree. It was so wonderful.
And those are cats. Those are cats, and cats are usually very distinct, I would think, with their right. And here they are, just like palling it up.
By putting some misunderstandings out, putting them and seeing things the right way, it's amazing. It's amazing results.
Do you also teach, Claudia, like how people can communicate with their animal companions in their everyday lives, just to improve everybody's right? Like just how even with wildlife too. Like, do you find that with cats and dogs and animals that may be more domesticated or tamed is very different than like a wild bobcat or like a shark? Or no? Okay, this is interesting.
It's really amazing. I have some amazing experiences, like because for me, an animal is like a different. For me, an animal is like a person. Person's like an animal. We're the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see a different species, more like a different culture. So I'm totally open to animals. And one time I was walking, I had 4 dog companions at that point. I was out in the country, and just being in the present, enjoying the company of my dog companions. It was early in the morning. We were walking down this little path, so to speak. And there was a field on one side and a little bit of a bushy area on the other side. When we were all walking, and all of a sudden, out of the bushes, boom, jumps a coyote.
Wow.
And literally just joined our walk.
So hang on, the coyote was walking alongside with your pack.
Yeah, he jumped out maybe 10 feet ahead of us.
Okay.
And so, like I was just looking, and, my guys were looking, but I was totally calm. Everybody was calm. And I looked and I said, oh, there's a coyote. And okay. And then all of a sudden, then my human thing came in. Oh, crap, there's a coyote.
Right, because coyotes and dogs, right? Like, I mean, we hear the stories.
Okay, but there's so much misunderstanding. But anyway, so then the coyote, I calmed myself down. But everybody says, they are bad or this or that. But it's not, because a coyote, I've seen so many coyotes when I was living out in the country, And everybody says, oh, they're going to hunt your little dogs or the cats or they kill them, whatever. Mm-hmm. But again, it's a misunderstanding, because the coyote is not out there, hey, where's the next dog?
Right.
Okay, coyote's out there in his territory. And then we come in there, our animal companions come in there. And most dogs, they see a coyote and think, oh, let's chase him. And we'll chase the coyote, right?
Right.
So we'll run away. And at one point he will say, well, enough is enough. He will turn around and say, okay, stop chasing me, or we have a confrontation. And then most dogs say, oh, great, let's have a confrontation. No problem. So
that's interesting.
Are stalking the animals? No.
Okay.
But again, we humans see it the wrong way. But if you look at it, it always usually is that the dog will chase the coyote first.
Out of curiosity or whatever that's driving them to how does instinct fit into this? Like, how do you define animal instinct and like that drive, that biological drive?
Animal instinct is actually, anything that has the word animal in front of it is very negative, right? Somehow we put a negativity. Like somebody said to me once, your life is going to the dogs, and wanted to insult me. I said, oh, thank you so much. But if you think about animal instinct, what is animal instinct? It actually means like living in the moment, in the now.
That's
so
true.
Instinct said, is there danger? Is it good? What shall I do? So we are always complaining about the animal instinct. However, if you are trying to meditate, you're trying to improve your life, what do all the gurus say? They say, live in the moment.
Yes.
And that's what animals do, live in the instinct, live in the moment. So it's the
Right.
same, but doing what we're trying to achieve.
Right. Okay, that's very well defined. Yeah.
But just because an animal like lives in the moment doesn't mean that they don't think about the past or the future. Absolutely they do. That's
interesting. Could you dive a little bit more into that?
So again, a lot of people think an animal is just in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
If that would be true, you could never teach an animal anything because they would forget. Instead, you would have to do it 2 minutes later because they forget.
Right.
And if you think about it, so many animals that have been abused, you move a certain way, they see something and they start to cower because they remember. They remember. So when I communicate with animals, especially rescued animals, or
right,
it's such a relief when you talk with them about it. I give you an example. I had this lady. She's in the States, and she rescues bull mastiffs, and I'm not sure if you are.
Those are big dogs.
Very big dogs.
Yes.
She works with bull mastiffs. She rescues bull mastiffs. Her dog companions are bull mastiffs. She knows bull mastiffs, right?
Yes.
She called me and she said, Claudia, I have this dog. He's 2 years now. I had him for a year and a half, so she got him when he was 6 months old. And she said, to this day, I cannot touch him or feed him unless he's in the crate. Otherwise, this big, gigantic dog is just cowering and shaking.
Oh, wow.
So she said, I tried everything. I tried behavior modification, training, positive, you name it. Nothing worked.
Okay.
I communicated with, I got in touch with her dog companion over distance. Yes. And I asked him to tell me about his past. And he was the worst abused animals I've ever met. Like, he was on a daily basis almost beaten to a pulp.
Oh, gosh.
And so when he came to this lady, well, actually, so I told him that this was his new home and everything, and that he would stay with her forever. And the first question he had for me was, when is she going to hurt me? So I said to him that this was the past. This, he would be safe forever now.
Yeah.
And so for a year and a half, he was thinking, today's the day, today's the day, today's the day. And it was sort of like, I didn't get beaten up yesterday, it's going to get worse today. So for a year and a half, he was in that fear. So again, I talked to him, I explained everything to him. And I, suggested some things the lady could say and do. So 3 days later, I get an email, and she says to me, this dog, like a few days ago, was still cowering on the floor, is now sitting beside me on the couch, eating off my plate.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love hearing that.
So see, there was just miscommunication and all kinds of stuff. And this dog was living in fear, in living hell every single day. And one conversation changed this dog's life forever.
That's miraculous, what you just shared there. Thank you for sharing that. And it's like he just went through his release and you helped transition him into his new way of life,
I was able to take the fear away.
Yes.
He could finally enjoy his life. I have another story. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal, but just once they know. And that's the wonderful thing when you communicate with animals. So people, yes, please do talk to animals all the time, but if you can't hear them yet, you don't hear their questions. And it's important because I mean, think about it. If something happened to you in the past, I mean, that's all one of the reasons why I'm also telepathic, because of my past.
Mm.
In an abusive, like I was brought up in an abusive way, right? So by just being able to let go, it's like a pressure cooker. You take off the lid and boom, you know, and then you change a life forever.
A transformation occurs. Yeah. That from that, like you just said, thank you for sharing that, like a release of energy and emotions, because you're an empath as well. It's the emotions that I don't want to say, I mean, would you say that they're I don't want to say it's trapped. It's just there until somebody acknowledges you and says, like you just said, I see you, I hear you, you know, and
well, yeah, you think about it, it's like us. What did I read the other day? Where is it like 95% of your thoughts, or of your negative thoughts, will never come true. But you're living in fear.
Mm-hmm.
Living in fear, maybe that, what about you on holiday? Somebody breaks into your house. Or how about you might not get this or that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fears, and they're not real, but you're scared. I mean, look how sad people are. Look how afraid people are because of things that haven't even happened yet.
That's true. Yeah, no, it's true. It's the, and you're right. It's about like, 70 or 80% of this worrying, overthinking of scenarios that will most like they're not going to occur. Like you just said, it's just this fear-based model that we also talk about on the show as well. It's this perpetuation of it.
Right. And so with the animals, so they're finally, and plus with the animals, it gets compounded because they have fear.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have people that really care about them, but they're telling them the wrong thing. So they say, don't be scared. So they're telling them, be scared.
Mm.
I will hurt you. As I said to you earlier, you know, don't jump. You're telling your animal companion to jump.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the negation out. That is what the animals hear. So if you say, I'm not going to hurt you, I am going to hurt you. Don't be scared. Be scared. I will never give you away. I will give you away.
Those are powerful examples there, Claudia.
So,
yeah.
How is the animal already living in fear? You're compounding it. Of course, it's getting worse and worse. So once you can finally explain things, or you also hear their side of the story, when an animal does something, there's always a reason for it. Mm-hmm. I can give you a funny story there. There's called
So I was just breaking up a little bit. Let's just repeat that one more time.
Okay. There's actually a dog sport. It's called Schutzhund.
Okay.
And what it means, it's called kind of like part of it is protection training. And I had a client who did this with his dog, sport, and he was very high up in that sport. And one of the things to do is there's a big field and there's lines.
Right.
And behind the last line, there's, so to speak, the bad guy. So the dog has to run around all the lines and then stop in the last line and bark and say, here, there's the bad guy, right?
Okay.
So he was quite far up in that sport, so he had to use all 6 blinds. So the dog has to go blind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So his dog, he went in with his dog, and his dog went around blind 1 and right to blind 6.
Okay.
And that's not allowed because he has to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It has to be right.
And quite often he got disqualified.
Okay.
Tried everything, and it didn't work. He went in 1 to 6, 1 to 6.
Okay.
So he hired me and said, can you please tell my dog, you know? Yeah. So I spoke with his dog companion, and he said to me, well, I know the guy is over there, so why should I go? You know?
I was just thinking that. I'm like, he probably already knows. Like, why go through that consecutive order?
Right. I mean, I know there's not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. All I know is, so I'd like just take the shortcut. So I said to him, well, it's not really just about finding the guy. It's more to show people that there's teamwork.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that your guardian, you know, he sends you one way, you come back and send it. So it's really to show people there's teamwork. So that's actually a big part of it. And he said, oh, okay. So
I love this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And everybody said, what on earth did you do with your dog? But nobody explained it to him. And it didn't. And why should I? This is such a waste of time if I know that the guy is right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, okay, it's about the teamwork. Sure, I can do it. No problem. Why haven't you told me that 2 years ago? I would have done it all this time, right?
That's amazing, though. That is a real. Thank you for sharing that, because that's like, you know, it's interesting because you've owned, I almost want to call it like a superhero power. Like this is a skill that I believe that many people can own as well, right? Like if you right, like if you tune into this cosmic self, this soul and this infinity of yourself, and you can connect with others, humans, animals, whales, sharks, manta rays, which I would love if you could share that, because you were hired by research, and just your experience about that of the role of the animal communicator coming in contact with scientists and researchers, and how that's building a new bond in the community of how we can work together in celebrating Earth and all of her creatures.
It's amazing because when they say they do a research project,
yes,
years they're going to study this and this species, and then to find out. And I always say, well, give me 10 of them, give me a week, and I'll give you the answers. Because they research something. If you talk to this person, it's better than just to observe them. And that's actually a wonderful thing. One time I did, there was this video on YouTube.
Okay.
Where it was a humpback whale.
Okay.
Caught in a net, and the fisherman swam over there and freed the humpback whale. And then the whale looked into his eye, and he said, the fisherman said he felt this gratefulness of the whale, and it was just so empowering.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I found, I did a little bit of research about humpback whales, and I found out that lots of them are actually caught in fishing nets.
Mm-hmm.
And the researchers say, well, it happens because of what they're eating. It's still in where the fish.
Okay.
Fish, and it's the whales are so close to shore, so they're getting caught. But it's because of what they're eating. It's there. So anyway, so I talked to the whales, and I said, why are you so close to shore? And they said, well, we want to work with people, and we feel that if we're out of sight, we're out of mind. So people have to see us. We really want humanity.
Okay, and that's pretty big. That's a big message.
And then I said, so what about what you're eating?
Right.
I thought that you're close to shore because of that is what your food is.
Right.
And they said to me, no, we're eating what's close to shore to be close to people.
Well, so, that's Claudia, you're taking it on right there. Right? Because there's, like you said, there's the observation. I thought there's a way that you can marry the two, and you're basically, you're connecting with the soul of the animal, saying, hey, we want to be part of this community. I love how you just said out of sight. Like for me, like that intuitive, like when I hear that, I'm like, okay, that,
So the researchers think the whales are close to shore because of what they eat, but the whales are only eating because they need to be close to shore. So they would eat something different.
Okay.
So you can research that, but the conclusion is wrong because you never asked them. It's the same thing. If I watch you for 24 hours, I would say, oh, she's doing this and this. But it might be a totally different reason why you're doing than what I'm observing, because whatever, and that's one of the things that I really want to do, because whatever we know about animals, most of that is not true because we're seeing it from our human perspective. And then we're evaluating out of our own perspective. But how many people have asked the animals?
Okay, this is because the scientific community would, maybe not in general, maybe a few, but people would say that what's it called, it's a project, right? Thank you. Yeah, like projecting our human personality onto, right? So could you speak more on that?
Even if you just look at humans, if you people who live in the Amazon, they live different than people who live in the Arctic.
Yes.
They're humans, but what is right and what is wrong? There's nothing right and there's nothing wrong. It's both right, I think. We just live differently. And so the same with the animals. So rather than putting our perspective on it,
right,
learn from the animals.
Right.
It makes so much sense. Animals are, people think they're not intelligent just because they don't know how to use the computer. But there's a little bird who can build a nest without hands, with just his feet. And that nest withstands a hurricane. You build a house and there's nothing left after that.
So, that's a good example.
Well, yeah, if you
That made me laugh. Thank you, Claudia.
so we can watch from the. I spoke with turtles, 800-year-old turtles. They have seen who knows what coming and going.
Oh my God, that would be such a cool story to like listen to.
So much knowledge and wisdom there. So why don't we take that and learn from them? You know,
That is so beautiful.
it's absolutely amazing. Like animals are so amazing, and everything they do really makes sense. We just put our stamp on it, and if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
Right. Gosh. Well, I'm just like blown away by all these like insightful stories you shared with us and everything. Like, I'm kind of off track here. I have all these, it's so funny because I have all these some questions that I want to ask, and this conversation. I mean, this is the whole point of being in on this conversation. Like, it's so leading edge, the information that you're sharing, and also the impact you have on people's lives. And also, I mean, you're basically you're training people in a way to reconnect, and because
it's a different way of looking at things. Because
yes, it's a different point of view, completely a different point of view.
Because we always, like I said, we always see everything from our perspective. There's no difference between humans and animals. We are all a soul, and the soul has chosen a physical body that gives us the most growth that we need in this lifetime. So, for example, I have been animals in past lifetimes. But this lifetime, I've chosen to be human because if I would come back as a dog, nobody would listen to me. So I'm coming back as a human.
That's interesting.
Right? So we really have to see, we have to change the way we see animals.
Mm-hmm.
We literally change the world.
Yeah, when we are changing the world by having these conversations and opening the engagement to have an open mind to these kind of engagements, right? And people from different industries or perspectives to kind of cross share your disciplines and kind of take this experience to like a new level. You know how you say we're all connected, and at the same time, would you also acknowledge that there's also this distinct personality in the individual or the self of like, a dog is different. Your dog is different than my dog, regardless of if they're the same breed or not.
Absolutely. But, you and I, we're same species. We're even the same gender, and we are totally different.
Exactly.
Dislikes and likes that I don't have. And I have things that I like to do that you don't like. So it's the same thing. So again, animals, they're souls, with a physical body. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference, however, between humans and animals. So again, mm-hmm. we cannot make a dog out of a cow or a human out of a mouse or something, right? Because we have chosen this physical body and we have needs.
Yes.
Inside, again, animals have the same feelings as we do. And I mean, you see that so often. How often have you seen a picture of a dog lying on a grave for forever? Mm-hmm. That his guardian, his or her guardian is there. They experience sorrow, sadness, happiness, and there's some really amazing things. For example, one difference between humans and animals are humans promise things quite easily, right?
Sorry, humans. I'm sorry, just cutting off a little bit.
Humans promise things quite easily.
Okay.
Animals never promise anything they can't keep. I have a client, it's actually a couple, and they have animal companions, a bigger animal family as well. They always keep on promising. You do this, I'll promise I do that. And
okay.
Times the animal companions, that's a promise, sure, we work with that.
Okay.
But the promise was never kept. And now they won't do it because they know the promise is not worth anything. But then I have a client, she lives out west in the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
She asked me to ask her horse to promise never ever to buck. Because she was afraid she would fall off.
Right.
And her horse companion said, I cannot promise you that because let's say we're on the mountains and we're coming around the bend and there's a cougar. If I get scared, I will buck. So I will do my very best, but I cannot promise you never to buck. Mm-hmm. If I promise you something, they will do it. Mm-hmm. So that's why quite often animals don't promise us anything because they know I might not be able to keep it. A person promised you something and by tomorrow it's like, oh well.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's hoping that, that I know what you mean by that. Yeah, it's almost like the integrity of the promise, right? And keeping true to your word.
I have so many times people promise the animal companion, I will never give you away, and then boom.
Right.
Or you have to be very careful what you're saying too. For example, you can't say to animal companion, we will always be together. In 5 minutes, you leave the room and you go to the bathroom and close the door. So animals take everything very, like they really take it the way you say it. So we have to be very careful how we are saying it.
That's interesting. Like almost like in a literal kind of way. I mean, like.
Be honest.
Right.
Really be honest, but put it in the positive. So for example, if you foster an animal, you have to tell the animal, okay, this is your foster home. Yes. I will look after you. I will get you back to health, and I will help you, and I will try to find you a new home, or hopefully a forever home. But this is only temporary. So that the animal knows already, oh, this is only temporary, and not thinks, oh, I'm here now, and I finally can relax and live again. And then as soon as they feel better, they're given away, and then they think, what did I do wrong this time? So totally honest.
Mm-hmm. So when you're saying share with the animal, you're basically saying talk the way you would as you're doing right now to the animal, right? Like that's how you're saying to communicate with the animals, how you would talk to a dear old friend.
Absolutely, exactly, the old friend. That's it. How do you talk to your friend? That's how you would tell them, and you tell them everything. You don't leave anything out, because whatever you do affects your animal companions as well.
And can they read this energetically as well? Like you said, there's different ways of telepathy. It's not just verbal. They can read it energetically. They know when you're going. They know your habits of when you go to work, when you come back, when like that kind of thing.
Well, first of all, telepathy again, it's a non-verbal way. When you speak and when you think, and that's actually scientifically proven now, you actually send out waves. So your thoughts can actually be measured.
Yes.
So the companion gets that. But also think about it. Quite often, when you think, you actually think in pictures as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, visual. Yeah.
Don't jump up. You see your dog jumping up, and your dog thinks, sure, I can do that. So yes, and the more specific, the more details, the better. Because if somebody says to you, your partner says to you, I'm going out now.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you going? What time will you be back? What are you doing? You want me to keep dinner for you? What am I supposed to do? I mean, it's just, I mean, God, you know what I mean? So
that's borderline controlling. No, but I get what you mean. I totally get what you mean, though. But I know you're doing a very exaggerated example there. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like, hey, dinner's going to be ready. Just have that conversation. Yeah.
Some trainers will say, tell your dog you'll be right back. So
yes.
I'll be right back. You come back 5 hours later. You just lied to your dog, and then you expect your dog to trust you next time you go out.
This is interesting. This is interesting for me. Yeah.
Because
okay.
If your partner says to you, I'll be back in half an hour, and comes back 2 days later, you're probably pretty, like you as in everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah.
So we tell them where you go, what we do, like as you would do with your partner, husband, wife, mother, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't just leave. You would say, Mom, Dad, or honey, or whatever. I'm going to work now, and you know what? I will be later tonight because I promised Susan to go shopping with her or whatever. You would say that just out of courtesy and so on. And so why? Our animal companions, they have feelings too. They want to know.
Please share her name with the whole world right now.
Her name is Mayara.
There you go. She is so chill right now. Like she's totally chill. She seems like she's zenned out right now.
You know what? She's actually a rescue. I rescued her. When I adopted her, I mean, everybody said she wouldn't survive. She was bad, and now she's so happy. She's one of the most calmest dogs ever.
I can tell.
She's just one of the sweetest. Well,
I love her. How many animal companions you have? Like, how many animal companions? Yeah. That's good. It's good. It's good. They're great energy. They're unconditional love and just they have a what would you say is your general message, Claudia, that you would like to give out to all the audience and people listening in right now? Like what's your message that you want to you're the voice of the animals, right? So let's share that today.
Okay, let's say you have a dog called Charlie. So don't see this is my dog. No, this is Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie, my friend, rather than this is Charlie, my dog.
Yes.
And then treat Charlie this way. But Charlie still needs what a dog needs. Again, a fish needs water to swim. You can't put a fish, beside you on the couch. He still needs water to swim. So our dog companions need what they need to be healthy, just like us. And they all have individualities. Like some like to be alone, some are the middle of the party kind of thing. So we have to see that. But first of all, see your animal companion as Charlie and not the dog.
Right. To the personality of the sentient being that's within Charlie. And I love how you picked Charlie, because Charlie's doing well, and we visit him, and he's doing good, and he's really happy in his new home. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we saw that. I thank you for sharing that, because I think about him, and I actually want to share something personal here, is that I'll get thoughts of him, right? Or I'll see a Westie, and I'll be like, "Hey, bud, how are you doing?" Right? And he's like, "I'm good." Like I feel it, like I'm good. And he has 2 new siblings now, and he's in a great home, like such a loving home. It was one of the hardest decisions, we had to make at that time, and it's tough sometimes. If anybody ever had to, I call it a soul agreement. I felt like he's one of my greatest teachers, and he taught me patience, and he also mirrored my stubbornness, and I learned, thank you, through you as well, that he's an intelligent being. And when I communicated with him of, hey, can you come up here or whatever, he even wanted to make a decision of he didn't feel like it, and I kind of had to respect that. He still wanted to sniff the lawn. You know what I mean? That he didn't want to come up, that he still wanted to play. And it was just this autonomy that I had to recognize within him, because a lot of the dog training is, I would say, almost like top down, right? We're kind of taught the top down approach, right? You're the leader of the pack, and it's just holding steady with, exercise. There's different dog psychologies and perspectives on this as well. So you shed a light on, well, Nicky and ours life at that time during our transition, and that we had to see, we saw him in a new light, and also to understand how he grew up on the farm and how his way of being was like in the city life now. And now he's kind of like, and it's funny how you mentioned, I'm going to share this. You mentioned how he wanted like siblings, and it'd be really cool if, right? And now he manifested another Westie as a sibling, and Lucy, a beautiful rescue dog. And they're just like, he manifested these siblings, and we get videos. I just want to say that if anybody have had to go through that heartfelt moment of making that decision, know that dogs adapt, and they're loved. And I go visit him when I can, and we make that arrangement. I'm like, Charlie, like it's exactly you said, I'm picking you up for a play date. We're hanging out just for the day. Where would you like to go? And I'm like, here we go hiking. I know you like going by the water. I mean, he's all excited because it's like his play date, right? He wants to do 10 things at once. And we hang out, and I show him like my friends, and I cuddle him, and I cry a bit sometimes too, because it's tough.
But you know what? You had a magic word. You said respect.
Pardon?
You had a magic word. You said respect.
Yes.
That's it. Because
thank you.
They have feelings as well. They have a life as well. And I mean, we living it together.
Yeah.
So, we also, we have to see what the animals need. And
yes.
It's not just us.
Yeah.
I always say, what can the animal do for me? But the question should be, what can I do for the animal?
That's a whole different question, huh? That's a whole different question. Oh my gosh, I think we're way over time, but that's okay. I would like to just wrap up here with, what is next for you, Claudia? What are you doing next? What's next for you down the road? How can people find you? Let's go there.
Awesome. Thanks. So they can find me on the internet, my website, which is claudiahehr.com. That's CLAUDIAHER.com.
Perfect. And I'll put the link in the bio for people to see as well. Okay.
And actually, I'm just working on all kinds of things like online courses, membership. Like, I really want to teach people the truth about animals. Like I said, there's so much out there which is not right. It's not from the human perspective. And the other thing is really important that people learn how to communicate. There's actually what you can communicate with, and you can communicate to animals. And it's the really important part, because a lot of people want to learn totally telepathy. But it's so important to know what to say to your animal companion, because it avoids so much heartache, especially for the animals, right? Because we're saying it the wrong way, and just by learning that, it makes such a big difference. I mean, the other day I took my guys to a chiropractor.
Okay, cool.
Actually, the chiropractor came to us because, there were so many. And I explained to my guys, this is what's going to happen, and this is what he's going to do, and just relax. And so the chiropractor came in, and he started with my cat companions. He said he's never seen that. They're like butter. I said to him, yeah, because I explained to them before what's going to happen. So it wasn't like, they knew what to expect. And it's such a big difference,
Okay, I have to ask this out of curiosity. Like, for example, with Charlie, you connected with Charlie, gosh, I think a couple of years ago, right?
4 years ago.
Gosh! So 4 years.
He actually then said he wanted 2 or 3 siblings, and he has them now.
So can you, even though 4 years ago you made that connection, can you connect with him now? Like, so you could still connect after all that time has passed. Does he know how much love? Does he know how loved he is from all parties involved during that process? I think it's just one of my, like, that he's just so loved, that it was a difficult decision, and we're just happy that where he is now is like his forever home. And we know that, like, there's an innate knowing in that.
I usually don't communicate with animals if I don't have the guardian's permission. It's like,
oh, yeah, right. Okay.
That's a really good thing to pass on, and I just did.
Oh, thank you.
And it says a little bit of a tummy.
Oh, okay. We actually, we know, we're aware of that. So thank you for. So we'll see if okay. No, I do the same thing as well, with sessions as well. You always ask permission. I know, because I do the same thing too. So, unless, somebody's involved, then you ask for your involvement with other. Yeah, I totally get that. So thank you so much, Claudia.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me on the show, and it was awesome. Thank you so much.
Honor and privilege, and can't wait to put this out to the world.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.